Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the best doggone podcast in the land with Ethan and Heather. I am Ethan Greenberg. Alongside of me is Heather. We are a part of the Fanatical Elves Network, a subsidiary of Fans First Sports Network. I hope that everybody is doing well this evening. Thank you once again for joining us. Heather, it's a Wednesday. Do you subscribe to the hump day term?
No, actually, Wednesdays aren't as bad of a day for me. Like Tuesdays. Tuesdays are the worst days for me because it's work. Mondays are always busy because you're catching up. Tuesdays just stink, and I like Wednesdays. I don't mind Wednesdays. So, yeah.
It's better than having a case of the Mondays. I'll tell you that much. It's one of those things. So we're here. We're middle of the week. We're just starting June. Is the weather finally starting to turn in Northeast Ohio?
Yes, we had today, I think, got to currently right now it is 85 degrees.
Are you kidding me? I think it's warmer there than it is here.
Yeah, it's 85 degrees, so it's perfect. And yes, I'm wearing a dinosaur hoodie, but you have to understand I keep my house at like 68. So I need to keep it a little bit cool, or I need to keep myself a little bit warmer because I keep it like an ice box in here. So,
yeah. Speaking of an ice box, Stanley Cup final and softball championship finals. Well, I was going with the ice in the Stanley Cup final, but yeah, the softball, Women's College World Series.
Yeah, that's a good. We could start with that. We were going to talk about it today.
Let's do it. The Women's College World Series.
Yeah.
I know you're not exactly happy with the finals.
No, I say that I'm not going to watch any of it, but I will probably watch some of it because I am rooting for Texas Tech in this scenario because I just don't love Texas. But what Texas has done with their program what Texas Tech has actually done with their program is extremely impressive. But one of the things that I wanted to bring up is we talk a lot about the NIL in NCAA football. We talk a lot about NIL in basketball. Like you talk a lot about the NIL deals in the bigger sports. I think what people need to understand. So Texas Tech, they have an all-around good team and they've played exceptionally well in the postseason. But I think what people need to understand is that Texas Tech gave their ace pitcher, who has pitched every single inning in the postseason. She has $1 million NIL deal for 1 year. They paid her $1 million to come to Texas Tech. She used to play at Stanford. $1 million. Plus they gave her, and this is a fun stat. Plus they gave her $50,000 for living expenses, and you're gonna laugh at this, $24 for her jersey number. Don't ask me why. I don't know. I didn't read into the why. But yeah, Nyjah Kennedy she's incredible. She's such a good pitcher. She's got speed. She's got movement. And is she worth $1 million? Well, she's got Texas Tech in the finals. So yeah, she's probably worth it. So
absolutely.
So you have Nyjah, who's probably going to pitch every single pitch. If I had to guess, she's going to pitch every single pitch in this postseason, unless they're getting blown out. If Texas Tech is getting blown out, I can see them taking her out, but I don't think that they're going to blow her out. Nobody has blown out Kennedy. And then they're going to have Tegan Cavan pitching, I think, for Texas, who has pitched remarkably well. She's been pretty inconsistent in the past, but my gosh, did she found a third gear in the postseason. So both teams played exceptionally well. They beat really, really good teams. So, I mean, they beat really good teams. They both ended Oklahoma's reign. So Oklahoma isn't going to get their 5-peat, but I think it's really good for softball because softball is a little bit different where you have a lot of people who get sick of the Alabamas, who get sick of the Ohio States, but softball is different. I think people were just having a lot of fun watching Oklahoma because it's so competitive. Softball is so competitive. And I want to bring up UCLA and Tennessee played on Saturday. It was a non-final game. They played on Saturday. 2.2 million viewers for the average. 3.9 million people at their peak. And that just includes the people that were not streaming it illegally.
Right.
When I saw those numbers, it just made my heart so happy, because to see softball on the stage like this, on the national stage like this, it was just so good for the game.
It is. It absolutely is. I would venture to guess that at the same time those games were on over the weekend, they probably outdid the UFL.
They did. They did.
I mean, there were probably a lot of other things that people could have been watching.
Yeah.
I'm pretty darn sure they outdid most of them.
They did. And you know what? The UCLA game had the wildest ending to it. I don't know if you caught a chance to see it, but
I was in the middle of something, so I didn't catch it.
Yeah.
I know that it was crazy. I know Mike in the UK is watching it, and he's telling me what. I'm like, what? What are you talking about?
Yeah. So for those of you who didn't see it, so it was bottom of the seventh inning. No, it was top of the seventh inning. And UCLA hits a home run. And she did not touch home plate. Well, the rule states that the only player that's allowed to assist you in touching home plate before another team member touches you is the person who is in the field of play. So it has to be the batter that was before her.
Okay.
But it wasn't. It was not. It was the catcher who, that's what she's trained to do. The catcher is trained to watch a runner hit home plate, because if they don't hit home plate, she's going to call for a replay. But according to Appendix G in the softball rules, this is not a reviewable play. And therefore, Karen Weekly, the coach for Tennessee, had filed a dispute. You're not allowed to, because the umpires have to see it live. And so it was insane, because it changed the whole pace of the game. And I had said, if Tennessee loses this game, my head was going to pop off. I love UCLA. I love Tennessee. It made me sad that they were playing each other. But I was rooting for Tennessee because it was such an egregious call.
Right. I mean, that's crazy, though, that they reviewed it and it wasn't reviewable. Like, how does this happen? How can this possibly happen?
It was insane. So softball, after the governing body for softball, after the fact, put out they put it out on Facebook, they put it out on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, reviewing the actual rule. And they said it would have resulted in a warning only had the umpire saw it. But that's not true. That's not how the rule read. They were doing it to kind of avoid, in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinion, they were doing it to avoid the massive backlash that they were getting, because my Twitter feed was full of people just mad. And it was not Tennessee fans. There were a lot of impartial fans. There were a lot of, because I follow Oklahoma, I follow Tennessee,
Right.
there were a lot of impartial fans that were saying Tennessee got hosed bad. So That was actually the second really bad call of the game that was missed that wasn't reviewable. So it's good to know that umpires are bad in every sport. Yeah, Mike, I was actually pretty mad too. And again, I love UCLA. They're one of my favorite teams, but you don't want to see a team win in that fashion. So it was pretty egregious.
That is crazy. Just crazy. But Tennessee goes on then to win the game in extras. So
they did. They won the game in extras, and then they went on to lose to Texas the next day.
Yeah, that is just wow. But I mean, the fact that all these games have just been tremendously exciting.
Yes,
the other night, you and I are texting as we're watching Oklahoma and Texas Tech. 2 strikes, 2 outs. Oklahoma down 2-0.
I know. I was like, oh my God. But then right back in the, that's just what good teams do, though. That's what good teams do. They get punched in the mouth and then they come back the next inning and they punch back. So I think it's going to be a competitive series. It's not that I don't love Texas teams, but I'm hoping to see Texas Tech win just because of Nigeri Kennedy. I would have taken the $1 million too. She's worth it for what she's brought, the recognition that she's brought to this program. And we're already starting to see transfers now coming in. These girls that are, these ladies that are entering the transfer portal. And one that shocked me, and I know that, you know, a lot of our viewers aren't super interested in softball, but one of the ones that we need to watch is Caitlin Terry. She was the ace for UCLA, and she entered the transfer portal. So watch for a power team. Watch for a Tennessee. Watch for an Oklahoma to go after her. She's a left-handed pitcher. She had a little over a 2 ERA, and she was just a machine. And I think you get her on a different team, I think she's going to be lights out. And I wouldn't be surprised if an Oklahoma goes after her hard.
So now, oh gosh, my brain is absolutely cramping right now. The pitcher for Landry. Sam Landry. She was a senior, so she entered the draft. She was actually the number 1 overall pick in the pro. Yeah. So what is the pro? Okay, talk to me about that, because I should know this, I think, but like, what is the next step? What is the pro league? You're talking about she's been drafted. Who?
So there's a really fun league. It's called Athletes Unlimited. There's actually a couple of leagues right now. So the more well-known one, there's one that they're trying to get up and running. That's a pro softball league. I think that one's not going to do very well, but they have the Athletes Unlimited, and I think they have 8 teams, and the format is pretty cool. It's either 6 or 8, but the format is pretty cool. They travel and they play on weekends, but they play in one city. So you can see all of your favorite players, all of your favorite teams. So it's actually, and they do it by points. They don't necessarily do it by wins. So if you win an inning, you get points. If you get a certain, like if you get a single, a double, a triple, for pitchers get so many points, but then they get points deducted, because obviously it's not fair because the pitchers are constantly out there. So it's actually a lot of fun.
Do you remember and there they are, they still exist, the Akron Racers?
I still have my Akron Racers shirt. I was so excited. My very first game, I went to the Akron Racers. Dallas Escobedo was the pitcher, and I watched Dallas Escobedo at Arizona State University. She was a lefty. Yeah, and she was actually like time when you just didn't see that type of speed in the league. So that was, I was fangirling so hard. So yeah, I still have my Akron Racer shirt.
And then they moved and they became the Cleveland Comets.
Yeah, but they did not play in Cleveland. They played in other cities. It wasn't just Cleveland. There were only a couple of games that were in Cleveland.
Okay, yeah, the part of the National Pro Fast Pitch League.
Yes.
Oh, wow. That is very interesting. I am learning something new. I am definitely learning something new. I'm glad to get this this information, because again,
I'm your softball guru. I'm your softball. I've loved softball for a very, very, very long time, as you can tell.
Well, when you played, what position did you play?
I played first base.
Okay. All right. Now, are you lefty or righty?
I'm a righty.
You're right.
And I'm a little short for first base, but you know, I did okay. I was flexible.
That's exactly. You got to be able to be flexible and able to stretch. That you know, and didn't in the Oklahoma Texas Tech game, was it in the bottom half of the 7th that it started with that hot shot to first base and it bounced up and the first baseman mistimed the bounce and it hits her in the leg?
Yep. And then and then the next pitch. Well, and then the not the next batter, but the batter up after. That's what the 2-run home run.
Yeah, wow, that was just.
Well, in the Tennessee game, not that Tennessee would have won because they got shut out, but it was 1-0, and there were 2 outs, runners on first and second, and there was a hot shot to short, and she just hurried her throw, and she airmailed it, sailed it right over the first baseman. So it scored. I'm sorry, there were runners on first and third. So it scored the runner from third, and that gave Texas the cushion that they needed. They didn't need another run.
Right.
So.
Now, as we were talking and these games are going on, you were not a fan of okay, wait, I'm going to get Grimes, a pitcher for Oregon.
No.
You don't
It's
like
it's promotion. I'm sure she's a lovely human.
Well, no, but I mean,
Yeah.
you're not a fan of hers. But what about her motion do you specifically not appreciate?
It's the hop after. And I don't like it. I don't like it because like your pitcher has to be a good fielder. All of the really good pitchers have that in common. They are smooth, they're fluid, and as soon as they pitch, they're almost in a defensive stance. So a Carlin Pickens is a really good defender. Sam Landry, really good defender. Even Nigel Kennedy, really good defender. So you have these, and Tegan Kavan, very good defender. So you have these pitchers, these ace pitchers who are really good at defending their position. And I just don't think Oregon, that pitcher, her Lindsay, she just drives me crazy. She just drives me crazy. And yes, Mike, Carlin Pickens was very, very good. You cannot give up one earned run and lose in a game. And that's been Tennessee's MO for as long as I've been a fan of theirs. They just do not have the offensive power sometimes. They're either going to put up 12 or they're going to put up 0 to 2. So Carlin Pickens actually had 360 strikeouts this year. And she's only a sophomore. So she's just only going to get better. 79.4 miles an hour. She broke her own record.
That's unreal. It really is. And I mean, I'm watching this. I watched more softball over the course of the past week than I probably had in the past 20 years, other than games that I've actually covered play by play.
Yeah, but, and it's not like Mike has too. It looks like I turned on Mike across the pond.
You absolutely did. No, it's awesome. It is absolutely awesome. So you're kind of rooting for Texas Tech.
Yeah, I actually think Texas Tech has a chance because Nyjah is so good, and Texas is a good team, but sometimes offensively they can be a little bit sporadic, and I think Nyjah can shut them down.
Wow. Well, we shall see how that goes.
Tomorrow.
That'll be cool. No, it's fantastic. And hopefully the momentum carries. And I think it's just in general, all of these sports that we're getting to see and having so many options for coverage that you have now, it's just fantastic to give people opportunities to watch these things where in days past you wouldn't have necessarily been able to watch it. So I think this is fantastic.
Yeah, and Mike, that's an excellent question. So how is it possible to pitch 100 plus pitches in back-to-back games, 4 straight games? It's because of the pitching motion. So overhand is not natural, believe it or not, but when you're winding in your underhand, there's very little strain on that. So it doesn't hurt, it doesn't strain you. Now, I'm sure they're sore after games after pitching that many, but you're not going to get like the swollen, you're not going to wreck your tendons. It's just a natural motion. So that's how they're able to do it, because it's just what our bodies are designed to do.
Wow. I mean, I think that's been something that, whether I've discussed it with you or otherwise, I know we've talked about like, you think Major League Baseball pitchers could adopt something like that other than the rules, and what you can do. But the fact that everyone's got Tommy John surgery.
Right.
It's
right.
ridiculous.
You just don't see that. You just don't see the level of injury to pitchers in softball. And one of the things that we're seeing this year in the postseason is ace pitchers. So in the previous years, you haven't had that. You've had pitching by committee, and we have not seen that this year. So just had a student put in almost 300 pitches in the last 10 days. And I would bet that they're probably sore, but you just don't have that strain. And winning cures a lot. Winning makes you feel good. So,
that is absolutely true. Winning cures all. It sure does cure a lot of things.
And I am going to shout out, if anybody is click on Newt's profile and give him a follow. I cannot say enough amazing things about this guy. He is an NFL guru. He's a college football guru. He's a draft guru. And I've learned so much from him. So give our guy Newt a follow, please. Yeah,
Newt Weston. Thank you so much for tuning in the comments. Okay, yep. Mike's got another question here.
Yeah, I think so. Now they are saying that Kennedy has a little bit of an injury, but they're staying tight-lipped about it, and they're kind of downplaying it. They're saying she's fine. I think that you find a different gear when you're in the postseason like this, and when you're in the finals for a first World Series, it's a big deal. So I think that Kennedy is going to find she's going to find a different gear. I think she'll be just fine.
Yeah, it's kind.
She doesn't just have speed; she's got really sick movement. Her drop ball and her it is just she's got sick movement. That the bottom just drops right out. So
yeah, she had them off balance.
Yes,
Oklahoma was in a world of hurt.
Yes, they were, and they're not used to that. That's not what they're known for. They're hitters. They're hitters. So Oklahoma just had a bit of it's a rebuild year for them.
It's tough to have a rebuild year and be
after 4 straight.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's terrible. But you talk about the fact that, like, even the tight lip or maybe a little bit of a nicked up a little bit. But
yeah, she's
going to be all right.
She's going to be fine.
It goes to our other discussions, and we talked about the NBA playoffs. And the playoffs.
We're talking about the NBA playoffs. Because I'm still bitter about this, but whatever. I know we have to talk about it because it's the finals. So
yeah, it is. It is. That's all right. We could talk more about NHL. I know how much you follow it.
Yeah, it's my favorite. I can't wait until we can start talking about college football again.
Well, we're gonna get to a little bit of college football.
Well, yeah.
And as you can see, I've come representing today. I've come representing, in my Buckeye gear. It's all
yeah,
good.
You know what? We can segue into that because we can end on the stupid NBA finals.
I like that. I do like it.
I don't. Do we want to pause for a break or do we want
to? Let's do that. Before we move on to our next topic, let's take a brief timeout to get a word from our sponsors. You are tuned in to the Best Doggone podcast in the land on the Fanatical Elves Network. And welcome back, everybody, to the Best Doggone podcast in the land with Ethan and Heather here on the Fanatical Elves Network, a part of Fans First Sports Network. And I wanted to show some folks things. We want you all to like and subscribe to the podcast, the YouTube channel, all of the programmings on the programming on the Fanatical Elves Network.
Where's it at? Check us out on the YouTube.
Yes, check us out on the YouTube. And what I wanted to show people, if I can, I want to do a little share screen because you can go on something like all your favorite platforms, for your podcast, whether it's Spotify or Apple or even Odyssey. And if you go onto the Odyssey app and you type in Cleveland or and you go into podcasts, you can scroll down and you will get to the Fanatical Elves Network. Click on Fanatical Elves, and all of the shows from the Best Doggone podcast in the land, Going Nuclear, Johnny Cleveland, they are all right there. So if you miss an episode and you're driving around, you want to catch it, go to where your favorite podcasts are, your favorite podcast platforms, give it a listen. Lots of good stuff. And I don't just say that because I'm part of the network. I think that the people, including us, a lot of good, knowledgeable people and interesting stuff that they have. All right. Moving on. All right.
You're more interesting than us. Let's be real here, okay?
Oh, I know.
I'm wearing a dinosaur shirt. You obviously have to take me seriously.
Yeah. Can I get some cool dinosaur chicken nuggets?
I have dino nuggets in my freezer.
Now, did you get the answer to your poll question, Heather, about our chicken nuggets?
Yes.
Wings.
Overwhelmingly 88%. So 88%.
Or our wings chicken nuggets.
What are boneless wings just chicken nuggets? 88% of people said yes. And I had one person mansplain the difference between a wing and a bone-in wing and a boneless wing.
Are you serious?
I am absolutely serious. I almost retweeted it, but I thought, I'm not going to give this fire oxygen because it's pointless. So yes, I had someone mansplain the difference to me. Like, I don't know what the difference in wings are. So thank you for that. I'm a better person now.
I'm shocked. I am rarely left speechless. And
I'm like, I know
what?
what the difference is. But we digress. We digress.
We do
We've
digress.
we got some college football stuff to talk about. So
Yeah, absolutely. Did you see the news? Ohio Stadium, historic Ohio
yeah,
Stadium, the Horseshoe, doing some additions, some renovations in what is it, in the south end zone,
yes, in the student section.
in the student section where
Yes,
the giant scoreboard. You
yes,
know, they're adding some suites and expensive ass seats down there. Um,
yes.
First of all, what did you think of the basic renderings? And any first thoughts on that?
I hate it. I hate it.
Okay.
And listen, I'm not. I am not bragging. I sit in really good seats. When I go to games, I sit in really good seats. I can't afford season tickets, but I can afford to go to a game or two and sit very close. So it has nothing to do with the price of the seats for me. It has everything to do with the fact that they are invading the student section, because you're losing the whole point of what makes college football great. And it's the students, and it's the student athletes, and I think that they should be building a bigger student section. I think that they should be expanding it to C deck. Like they should make it so the students can afford to go to games, and they should embrace that, because there are no more rabid fans in the world than college student fans. So you're going to get a 21-year-old or 20 or a 19 or 20-year-old in a November game where it's freezing temperatures, January playoffs against Tennessee. You're going to have idiot kids who have painted their chest, and they're going to be out there, and they're going to be rabid, and they're going to be screaming, and they're going to be cheering every single play. Do I think it's stupid? Yes. But is it the essence of what college sports are all about? Absolutely. So my long-winded way is I think that they need to make at least one whole section for students affordable and stop invading that. You've got plenty of other people like me who will pay for other seats.
Right. Now, what I was trying to figure out is how many. Now, one of the things that people are talking about is the band is moving back down to the other end where they were prior to the last renovation in the early 2000s, maybe 2001, 2002. I know they posted it, so I should have written that down, noted that, but my brain was cramped at the moment. And my question is, how many rows of seats or are they losing by virtue of putting these suites in and these expensive?
They're going to have to lose, because no one's going to pay for a crummy, tiny little box suite. I've been in a suite, and no one's going to pay for like a little tiny box where you're only going to fit a couple people in. You're just not going to. So they're going to have to make them bigger. So I do think that they're going to expand that, and you're going to lose
a few rows.
Right, because then you're going to lose seats on the other side of the stadium that are a little bit more affordable too, because you're going to have to find a place to put the band. And then you're going to lose the essence of it, because the band gets the student section hyped. I've been to games. They turn around, they engage with each other. They act together in a sense. And there's a lot of traditions, like the Urban Meyer started it, getting the band involved, where they do the band.
Carmen, Ohio.
Well, but not only that, but they get the band involved pre-game, where they do the drill, the football drill. So
okay, yes.
Yeah. So you're losing a lot of that as well. I don't like it. I think that we're at what point is, and I know NIL has changed the game. So boosters need money, and the program needs money. Ohio State's very profitable. At what point do you say enough money is enough money, and we need to keep it friendly for the people who are paying the tuition?
Right. No, I agree. I mean, they're saying, so they're doing 400 chairback seats. Now, I don't know if all of that is replacing the specific student seats that were there. What exactly? I was just looking online. It's something. Well, it says 400 standard student seats will be replaced by the new premium seats, and that's an AI overview. So I don't know if that's exact. I know my niece is a student there. She's finishing up her second year. I know she goes down and does the painting thing. So she's Seen her on.
But that's the thing. Like it's there's nothing like it. Like again, I have these delusions sometimes where I'm younger and I drink on game days and then I regret it for the next 4 business days. But there's something just exciting when you're at the stadium and you're walking down High Street and you're walking to the stadium and you see the college houses and the kids are it's 8 a.m. and everybody is already hammered. Like it's just the college atmosphere. So I don't like it. I think sometimes you just need to leave well enough alone.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. So first of all, to Brad, yeah, they'll be the worst seats in the stadium, but the people down there don't actually care. They're enjoying their spirits, and they really don't care that much.
Correct. And they're fans, but I promise you, the people that are in the suites are not the people who are yelling and cheering outside the. They're golf clapping. I've been in a suite. They're not going berserk because I've been in a suite and I've gone nuts and I've gotten a look like, what is wrong with you? Cut her off.
Clearly you were with the wrong people.
I was with the wrong people. It was terrible.
Man,
it was terrible. They looked at me like, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, I don't even know where to start.
Right, exactly. Whoa. Yeah, now one thing I did read, which I thought was an interesting point, and this is something you and I have discussed in the past, the fields, the storming of the field.
Yeah, I don't like the storming of the field.
Somebody suggests this might actually help. I don't know. Ohio State doesn't normally storm the field because they usually are winners. They don't.
Correct. We don't have a reason to storm the field because and even if we win against a team like that we're not supposed to, we're used to. And I don't mean this disrespectfully. I just mean that we're used to winning.
Right.
It's not like we're unranked going in and beating a team that we're not supposed to.
Bingo.
So I don't think that part of it matters.
And that's kind of crazy because even
maybe, and again, like away, I've never seen Michigan.
Right. And I don't know.
They were fighting players. They weren't necessarily fighting fans. They were fighting each other.
Right. But I'm trying to think, Heather, because my brain is, this is a few years ago. Sadly, it's been a few years since Ohio State beat Michigan and beat them in the in the horseshoe. Did they have people storming the field, or was it like it was so ho hum that they're like, okay?
Yeah, I don't think that they stormed the field. I think that they walked on the field. Like you had some people walking on the field. I don't think that they stormed it. I not that I remember. If they did, I'd be mad about it. Like I'd still complain about it, even though I love Ohio State. I just think it's dangerous.
Right, exactly.
And I don't want to hear like, oh, you're no fun and you're boring. Yeah, no kidding. Like get a new narrative. But the safety of the players and the coaches and the media and everybody, because there's always collateral damage in those situations.
Yeah, there is. Speaking of celebration, did you see the story about I think it was a high school runner, a track runner.
She won the state tournament
in California.
And they took her medal away from her because of excessive celebration. She mimicked getting a fire extinguisher and putting the fire out on her shoes. She just won the 100 or 200 or both in the state meet. Give me a break. Have we become this soft? Have we?
Yeah, no, it's and she did it. I think after
it was well after. So they took her.
It's ludicrous. And she was mimicking another track athlete or somebody who's done that. It's after everybody had left. You got to use some common sense, folks. I mean, there's a time. I understand that you've got to have some humility, and there's a time and a place and stuff.
But you can't take her award away from her for not having humility either.
Yeah, that's
you
messed
can say, look, you can censor her, you can make her issue an apology or do something, but it's not like she was in their face, and it's not like she was pointing at them. She was fast. She was fast as boy. Like she deserved to celebrate. And I just think it's really pathetic that we've sunk so low. Yeah, Maurice Green. Yes, yes, Mike, Maurice Green. And give me a break. Like, what have we become?
Yeah, there's a fine line, and this did not cross a line.
No.
It's like, are you kidding me? An arbitrary BS thing like that.
Yeah, someone's feelings got hurt, so she gets punished for it. And if I were her parents, I would go on a media campaign of just trashing the officials. It was in California, right? So let's
Yes,
be
that is correct.
completely honest here. I'm not surprised that it was in California.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't believe it. I read that, and when you started talking, we started getting into this discussion. It dawned on me like, oh yeah, that story. That's just ludicrous.
Yes,
That's
I agree.
absolutely ludicrous.
Right. So before we segue off of college football, I do have to ask you, I know that the big story is with Michigan right now, and I've actually had a couple of people DM me asking me what I think their punishment is going to be, and I've refrained from answering any of that because I don't want to get any of the hate, and I thought we could talk about it today.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
What do you think is yeah, it is. It's the hearings are this week or next week or something like that. They're gonna talk about it. So what do you think? Let me pose a two-part question. What do you think their punishment should be? What do you think their punishment will be?
All right. So
I'm gonna put you on the spot.
all right. Okay, so let's start with what should it be? I think you've got to vacate all the wins. Every single win that they can say, if they can identify a starting point for the illegal scouting,
right?
I think that's where you start vacating the wins.
Yes.
Sadly,
there's precedent with that.
Yeah, sadly, I think that with that in mind, then even though Connor Stallions was gone by the time they the end of the season when they won, I think it's still.
Yeah, because you have to argue that they could have lost the games earlier in the season, that they wouldn't have made it to the playoffs.
Yeah, and so I think that is what should happen. It's okay. So the hearing is scheduled for the 6th to the 7th.
Do you think that there should be future punishment, like bowl ban?
They're going to get future penalties.
I hope so.
I mean, and here's the thing that sucks: the kids that have come after.
Oh yeah.
That's what really sucks is they didn't do a darn thing wrong, but this could be huge.
But let me pose this: the kids that are there that have come after, they are very well aware of the potential for punishment. Now, I think that they're doing it with the veil of protection because you are allowed immediate transfer if something like this happens. Like, you have a certain window where you don't have to enter the portal. Like, you can just say, like, I'm going mid-season. So if this comes down, like, they're allowed to enter right away. And Mike, ban them from a playoff berth. I mean, for life. Yes, Mike, players can transfer out. Yes. So that the portal does allow for players to leave if there's a punishment like that. So
right. And what I'm reading is, so the hearings are Friday and Saturday, and then
I don't. For newsworthy, like, you're going to get Fridays and Saturdays are slow days. It's weekends, people are, and I'm so sorry if I keep looking over, my dog is having like you're talking too loud, mom. She just let out a big sigh. I'm like, you don't live with me and know who I am.
Ridiculous.
That is loud. Always loud.
Man, that's messed up right there. But from what I'm reading, it says that it could take 45 days. Expect a decision within 45 days.
They'll take every bit of that because I think they know what they're going to do, but I think that they're going to take every bit of that because they're going to make it look like, oh, we took every possible piece of evidence into consideration and we looked at everything. And I think that they're not going to vacate the wins because they're not going to be able to prove when it started. But I think that they're probably going to put the ban hammer down on them for the next. I think they're going to lose scholarships. Yep. I think they're going to lose a lot of scholarships. And I think they're going to be banned from the postseason or bowl. Even the Tidy Bowl, they're going to be banned from that.
Right. So let me ask
probably
you
5 years.
This is something that just popped into my head. Now that you talk about scholarships, how does NIL affect scholarships?
NIL doesn't affect scholarships at all. So
they can still pay people to come there.
So they can still pay players to come there, and they can pay their own tuition in a sense.
Right.
But what I do wonder too is how this is going to affect the draft, the NFL draft, because Michigan always has a healthy amount of players. So is this going to make, well, there's two things, the playoffs and the draft, because now you're going to have scholarship players who are going to inevitably decide to leave. Are they going to go to schools where they're not going to get as much recognition because the bigger schools, the Ohio States, the Texas, the Alabamas, already have their fill of scholarship players. So, yeah. and not that going to smaller schools will affect their draft stock necessarily, but if you get into a smaller program where you're not going to get as much of airtime, and perhaps you have a coach that isn't as well versed with your style of play, maybe that's going to hurt some of these kids' draft stocks. And then are some of the other teams going to be a little bit more competitive because maybe they have a chance to pick up a couple of better players? Because I do think that there is going to be a little bit of an exodus.
There is, and it is going to be very interesting to see what the result of this is. And it could have major impacts, as you said, in all kinds of areas. It's kind of crazy. And there are a lot of coaches who are like, I recruited this kid. Are you out? Come on, let's go.
Come on, come back. Who is their quarterback? Why can't I can't remember his name that Dave Portnoy is paying $5 million. Oh
my God. Yeah.
Underwood.
Is it Bryce Underwood?
Yeah, Bryce Underwood. Yeah. Bryce. Yeah. And it is, I wonder what he's going to do, because he decommitted. So I wonder what he's going to do. I feel like that was a really dumb move, because you can't play as a quarterback if you don't have a line protecting, and if you don't have a great running game, and if you don't have wide receivers who can at least semi-catch ball. You don't have to have a great running game, but you do have to have at least one or two, running backs who are decent. And it's just going to be, I'm curious to see where the chips fall with this. And don't come at me because it's Michigan. I would be talking about this with any program. So it just happens to be the team that I dislike the most.
Exactly. You know what, though? One thing you talked about, Heather, is you can't play well if you have a bad offensive line, if you don't have a good running game, you don't have receivers. I don't know. Shedeur Sanders played pretty well with a crap offensive line, barely a running game. Right. He had one player.
But he had arguably the best player in that we've seen generationally. Like Travis Hunter was a freak. Yeah, I probably could have been under center, and had you given me 3 seconds and I just chucked it up, like he would have found a way to catch it. Although I have been hearing that Shedeur is doing very well in training camp. And all of this BS that I've heard about how he's not a good teammate, how I've heard the complete opposite. Every reporter has said that he's the first person to show up. He's the last person to leave. He is doing everything that he's supposed to, but that's a whole different show.
Oh yeah. We will have plenty of time.
I can't wait to go to training camp. I hope to be at all the training camps this year. So
that is amazing. And I hope to find my way to at least one. I do hope to find my way to at least one, because I want to see it up close.
Yeah.
The last time I went to a training camp, Heather, my brother and I think my dad, we dropped my mom off at the airport so she could go to a conference. And we drove out to training camp. And I think this might have been when they were out at Baldwin Wallace.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So it's been a long time.
This was like in the 80s. Kozar, Matt Hatter. I mean, we had like a piece of paper or a notepad with autographs on it.
It's so fun. They still do it. It's still fun. I met Kevin Stefanski one year. I met quite a few players there, because you're just so close and they're so interactive. And I think last year I was at 5 of the 6 training camps that they had.
That is amazing. Now Mike asked a good question, because we've seen a lot
of I love it. I love it. I would actually love it if anybody had said that. I would love it if an SEC coach said it. I would love it because you want to hype your conference up. And I think that Ryan Day is not wrong. I actually wouldn't be, maybe 4 is excessive, but I wouldn't be all that upset if I saw them change it to the SEC and the Big getting at least 2 automatic bids, at least 2, because you can't tell me otherwise. They are hands down. There are 2 conferences now in football, the Big 10 and the SEC, and the Big 19 and the SEC. So you can't tell me that they haven't earned the right to have some automatic bids. So I love it. I hope to see some SEC coaches follow suit and try to hype their conference up too.
And I thought and I'm kind of trying to remember, this was sometime, maybe it was last week. I was pretty certain that there was discussion and they were talking about expansion. Yeah, I think there was discussion from the SEC about the number of automatic qualifiers.
Yeah.
From the
it's
SEC.
Been a little bit more quiet though. Like Ryan Day just came out and just blurted it out. Like in the media, he's like, "This is how I feel, and if you don't like it, go kick rocks."
He's got cachet right now. He has earned equity.
Oh yeah, he's riding like he's got whatever you say, sir. You've earned it.
Exactly. I mean, he's got a life.
He's the meme from South Park with the wheelbarrow.
Yes. He's got the lifetime supply of Just for Men.
He does.
You can't be.
Got a little bit of that rosacea going on. I love it. He's got the automatic blush. I love it.
There's no way that beard is still fully dark.
Okay, but it's so interesting to me that that's what Michigan fans want to yap about with him. I'm like, of all the things that you're going to complain about, you're going to talk about the color of his beard. Of all the things that we've done, you're going to talk about that. But go on. Okay.
Yeah, so. I don't know. I mean, on one hand, you've got Kevin Stefanski, who is going gray right before our eyes in the beard.
He is.
Over the course of like 5 years.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's the coach of the Browns too. There is a little bit less stress with being a coach of Ohio State because they do win still, and right. the fans aren't wishing, awful things on you. I don't know why you would ever want to be coach of the Browns ever. Because like if there's a more underappreciated, more hated person in Cleveland, I don't know who it would be.
Yeah, but
Deshaun.
Oh my God. Oh.
I don't even think Deshaun's wife likes Deshaun. She likes his money.
Exactly. He likes his money. Bo ain't going to complain about nothing. I think it's the clip they play.
No.
All right.
We can segue because we've talked enough about this. We're starting to get off track when talking about Deshaun. You're going to get me all. Right. I mean, it's a good segue to get me fired up before we talk about the bitter. I'm sour grapes.
Okay, before we get to sour grapes, because we're talking NFL, we talked last week about the NCAA football.
The Madden curse, yeah.
All right.
Do I think it exists? Yes.
All right, so if you were playing, if you had the first pick in fantasy football and Saquon Barkley was there, would you stay way far away from him? Would you say, "No, you can have him"?
No, I'm gonna roll the dice and pick up Saquon.
That is brave.
It is brave. There's only one running back that I will never draft, and I have had this mantra for 4 or 5 years. Christian McCaffrey.
Huh.
Because the man is made out of tissue paper. He is made out of paper mache. One hit, and it's like busting through the Kool-Aid man busting through the wall for like
yeah.
Yeah. So I will never draft McCaffrey. I've never drafted McCaffrey. I will never draft him.
All right, well, that's fair.
There's my fantasy football advice. Do not draft McCaffrey because he's always going to be. In fact, last year I drafted in the last rounds. I drafted every single backup. Because who was it that his McCaffrey's backup was out for the season? So I drafted the 2 behind him, and who won their big money league? Me.
And apparently, I need to take a page out of your book there. I guess I need to draft like the 4th quarterback for the Browns because we know that one's
right. We know they're going to
get a chance. They're all going to get a chance there.
Right.
Okay, so moving on, sour grapes here.
Yeah.
The NBA Finals. But before we get to the finals, what did you think yesterday when news broke that the New York Knicks fired Tibbs.
Okay. So I posted a poll about this as well.
Yes,
and
what were the results?
I can't remember what the results were. I knew it was overwhelming, like everybody thought it was a terrible idea. I will admit that this is really the first year that I've always followed the Cavs. I've always followed the Cavs. But I haven't really ever followed a lot of the other teams. So this is the first year that I'm kind of getting into that and trying to learn about it. I'm trying to find the poll here. So I was genuinely curious how people felt about Thibodeau being fired, because I thought that he took a team that had no business being in the Eastern Conference Finals so far, and to fire him, it was baffling. So 75% of the people said it was the wrong move. I only had a couple people comment that it was the right move. So yeah, I'm trying to find. So, okay, someone said he's very overrated as a coach. He will absolutely burn out his top 5 players. And I will say, I said Jalen Brunson played an exorbitant amount of minutes. Like, he never got any rest. So did Carl Anthony Towns got into foul trouble a lot because he was playing a lot of minutes. Plus, he's a big hoss. So, yeah, it seems to wear on the players. Yeah, so that is, Brad, that's what I got. That was one of the comments that I got. But another comment I can't say because I can't say this here.
Well, we don't want to say it. But yeah, no, actually, interestingly enough, I complain on here and I groan about Stephen A. Smith, right?
Oh, yeah, I don't like Stephen A. Smith.
But the crazy thing is this. He'll go on. He was on Howard Stern this morning promoting he is going to be having his own show on Mad Dog Radio on Sirius satellite radio and stuff. But he talks about a lot of stuff. I mean, him being on the soap opera and all that kind of stuff. And he was talking about, they were discussing whether it was Dolan or Leon Rose who was responsible for it. And And they say it was Leon Rose.
The easy person to blame is Dolan because of I had a lot of people saying that because
right, but he said according to his sources it was Leon Rose, and regardless, I think that his style wears on people. So
it does.
I can kind of get it, and maybe they thought they need to go further, but I really did think he took them further than anybody would have expected. Obviously, the Celtics losing Jason
Tatum and
having a not so healthy Kristaps Porzingis.
Well,
they won.
Right. And I think though that you can argue that the Pacers went further than anybody anticipated. I don't even think I think that only the most delusional diehard Pacers fans, which stay out of my DMs, stay out of my messages. I'm delusional. So I'm a homer. So me calling you delusional, don't get your panties all in a bunch because a real, a crazy fan is delusional. I'm delusional. Okay. I like the Browns. So don't come at me. But even only the most delusional Pacers fans thought that they would make it this far. So I think that you can make that argument that the two teams, was luck, a little bit of luck, a little bit of skill, and a lot of good coaching. Yeah, no, I think, look, Indiana has done fantastic. I think they're going to run it. I think you can't beat that. They've shot lights out. My God. And Rick Carlisle has won a title right now. Look what, actually, wow, I just had a moment. Here okay, Rick Carlisle. Yeah. Who did he win the title with, and who did he win it against as coach of? Was it Dallas? Against? It was Miami. Was it Miami? Yes, it was. And LeBron, right? Because it was that. How do I remember that? How do I remember that? But I can't remember to get like milk at the grocery store because I remember it was the Dallas Mavaliers. Right, like it was. We were the Cavaliers were. They were. We were all in for Dallas that year. Right, they took down a far
better.
Yes, they did. It was a far better
far
team.
more talented Miami team,
Right.
with just grit and effort. I mean, you had Dirk and a bunch of other guys who just kind of scrapped. It was amazing what they did. And so I see a lot of that in Indiana.
Yeah.
All right, that's it. Put money on it. Put money on the Pacers.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't be surprised. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the Pacers do end up winning because that's just how it goes. But I do think that Oklahoma City has done everything right in building their team. They built it slowly, and they've built it with non-egomaniacs. You don't have anybody on the team that's as polarizing as a Halliburton or Matherin, or not as polar. You're not going to say that Oklahoma City is dirty. You can make that argument for, I don't think.
I don't like their style. They foul the whole game.
They do, but they're not like aggressively hard fouls.
Right.
So, and I'm not saying, again, I'm going to get so much hate for this. I'm not saying the Pacers are dirty, but I'm just saying that they've got a couple of players. Matherin can eat rocks for all I care. Don't kick them, eat them.
Oh, nice.
Let nature do its thing. And again, Halliburton is, and I think Halliburton is a little bit more polarizing just because of what his dad did. I don't think we would have been talking about him as much. But the thing is that the Pacers have a deep bench too, and they play fast, but so does Oklahoma City. So yes, they have, and they've built them more slowly. They haven't gone out and made these blockbuster trades, and they haven't been splashy or so loud about it. They've done it the right way.
Well, and I think that is part of the reason. Okay, there it is. That's a good from Brand. So Dirk,
Jason Terry. I forgot about Jason Terry.
And Jason Kidd.
I think Jason Kidd was kind of washed up by then.
Right.
And Jason Terry, though, was a 3-point machine. I mean, that man could hit the three. So
it was just, and Tyson Chandler.
Was just big. He was just a big guy.
He did the dirty work. He did what needed,
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, he does talk a lot of trash, but I think his dad didn't help his cause because people were talking about him internally. I know that he got whoever voted him most overrated player. I'd like to talk. Just meet me outside. I just want to talk. Like, come on. I think you just awoke a beast, but I don't think that we would be talking about him as much if his dad hadn't popped off like he did. And now his dad's allowed back and is sweet, but whatever. I've already popped off about that. So I'm not going to go there.
We'll let sleeping dogs lie with that one. Now, one of the things that people are talking about is, this is the last thing that the commissioner wanted.
I've heard that. I
buy into that.
Okay. A little bit, because poor viewership. Oh my God, JJ, yeah, I forgot about him. Yeah. Oh my God, Pay oh my gosh, these are all So okay, so this is why I buy into that a little bit, because yes, ads are pre-sold before they know. If you have poor viewership this year, it's going to Sean Marion with his 17 children. If you have poor, he did have a lot of kids. Oh, no, that was Sean Kemp. That was Sean Kemp. Yeah.
All right.
Wrong Sean, sorry. But if you have poor viewership this year, how is it going to affect the cost of the ads next year? So I think each year it builds on. So you have an advertiser who said, I'm not going to risk it. Look at, you had the lowest viewership that you've had ever for a finals. I think it's going to surprise people, though. I think that it's going to be at least game one, I think is going to have a lot of viewers, because you have people who are sick and tired of seeing the Lakers, the Warriors, the Celtics. Like, you have casual fans who are simply tired of seeing the same teams over and over again. So I think you are going to have, at least for game one, decent viewership. I won't be one of them, but
hey, I might be doing my hair that night. I might be washing it.
Right. Oh, no, it's definitely a hair wash night. I'm busy that night counting, counting pennies.
Oh, well, they're worth. They might be worth more now. Apparently,
They
whatever.
might be.
But yeah, I look. I think that a lot of fans today aren't even so much casual because they are about the players, not the teams. So there's going to be a
Well,
lot
yeah,
of people
and
that
I
are
don't
watch
know.
for SGA.
Yeah, yes, yeah. Who is a player on the Pacers that there is no, okay. There is a little bit of bias here, all right? I've already admitted it. But to me, there's no likable player on the Pacers. And I'm going to get a lot of crap for it again. But I'm sorry.
I'm going to, Heather, we're going to clip this and we're going to post this all over. I don't like it. Whatever it is that you just said, we're going to have it all over. It'll be beautiful. We'll be
getting. And my DMs are going to blow up. And then I'm going to get.
What is with these X-holes that DM you?
Yeah. Some of them are bad. Some of them are bad. And that's why I do caveat that a lot because I can't say what a couple people have said. It's been bad. It's been really bad. And I'll say this as well. Cavs fans, stop it too. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Every fan, stop it. Just let people live. Let people have an opinion. So yeah.
Oh no. You're not allowed to do that, Heather. Because
and you can call me an idiot. Like you could say you're wrong, you're being bitter, and yeah, I am. Don't resort to the personal attacks is what I'm saying. You can disagree with me. Don't resort to the personal attacks. It's pathetic. You're pathetic.
Okay, so what is this? Wait, here we go. You met Miles Turner at the Cavs.
He is a nice guy, and that really pissed me off. And I'm sorry I swore, but it was the last game of the season. Lana and I were there, and we had floor seats, so we had access to the lounge after, and they were all coming out, and I met Miles Turner, and dang it, he was so nice. And I'm like, God, I hate you even more now because you were so nice.
I really wanted to
have a very nice guy. That's the thing. He's a very nice guy. But still, just because you're nice doesn't mean I have to like you.
Well, they did once have a player named Ron Artest, who then became Meta World Peace. And it was the Malice in the Palace.
Yeah, but you know what, though? We need to do a whole show on that because I am kind of on the side sometimes of Ron Artest because fans can't act like a-holes and not have any consequences. You can only push a person so far.
Well, we could have a whole show about when fans get their comeuppance.
Yeah, we need to do a show about that because just because you paid to be there doesn't give you carte blanche to be a jerk.
Can we get the guy who got the ball thrown at him by Albert Bell?
I love Albert Bell. He was such a jerk. Albert Bell was like the nastiest and meanest ever, and my God, did we love him.
Oh, absolutely. Wow. I mean, I don't know. So who do you have in your unbiased? Who do you think will prevail in the NBA Finals?
Honestly, unbiased opinion, and I truly do mean this. I do think that Oklahoma City has the more well-rounded team, like a little bit of a deeper, more talented team. So I think that Oklahoma City wins it in 6.
Okay, you got OKC in 6. I would echo that. I believe. I don't think the Pacers are going to go down without a fight. What about the fan interference?
Yeah, the Yankees have done that several times. The Yankees fans have done that several times. They are the reason that there's the rule, and they're the reason that the rule keeps getting broken.
Yep. Oh, Mike's going out on.
Okay, Mike's going out on a limb and says the Pacers in 7. Okay, I mean that's fair.
Right. We will have to revisit this. We're gonna have to.
Yeah. So Ethan, what say you?
What say I? I kind of agree with you. I don't think Indiana's not going down without a fight.
No.
This will be a battle.
This would be a dogfight, yeah.
I could see there being a blowout one way or the other, but I think at the end of the day, we're going to see a long series.
Close games. Yeah.
It's going to go, I would say 6 or 7. I tend to believe.
Oh, this is going to hurt you. I think you're going to go Pacers, aren't you?
I'm so torn, but I've seen what they've done.
I know. It's almost like they're faded. It's almost like they're faded this year.
Yeah, I've seen what Rick Carlisle can do, and he's got finals experience.
He's a good coach. Yep.
If they steal game 1,
it's over.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. That is trouble, kids. Um,
I want to, before we close it out,
Yes.
I want to talk off topic of sports. I want to talk about something that I had posted earlier about.
Yes.
It was a dangerous post about June is men's mental health.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I want to, there's a lot of male viewers on here, and I want to just say, if you have thoughts about anything, if you're depressed, if you have anxiety, if you have thoughts of, I can't say the word, but unaliving yourself, get help. Get help. There's no shame in getting help. It's actually the bravest thing that you could possibly do. Mental health matters. And all jokes aside, I talk about letting a pro sports team ruin my mental health, but all jokes aside, mental health isn't something that's funny. It is something that's serious. And if you had appendicitis, you go to the doctor. If you had, chronic health issues, you would go to the doctor to get it fixed. Your brain is an organ, and you have every right to talk to someone, to work it out, to take medication if you need it. So please do not ever feel ashamed. Get help. It's okay. So for Men's Mental Health Month, I think that anybody worth their salt is going to support you, and they're going to love you through it. So get help.
Yeah,
Okay.
and Heather, I'm so glad that you did mention this. It means it's very, very important, because a lot of people are, gone far too soon. And I saw the chucklehead who responded to you today. Men don't go to therapy because it doesn't work.
Yes.
What are you talking? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You have to, but the thing is, it's not a magic fix.
It's not. You have to be dedicated to it, and you have to be honest with your therapist, and you have to be honest with yourself. And it takes time, but you can get there. You can get there. So don't suffer in silence.
No, and it's not a quick fix, and it may have to keep going. I've been in counseling for 28 years, and I still go because
sometimes you just need a tune-up.
You need a tune-up, and again, even though you can't see it, things going on up here in your brain.
Correct.
And it's chemicals, and gosh darn, I just don't get it. Like,
it's not something that you can, when people say snap out of it. Gee, if only I had thought about that. It's if you could, you would. Nobody wants to feel like that. So don't suffer in silence. Get help. Honestly, if you're too scared, reach out, DM me. I'll give you resources. I work in a capacity with healthcare. So reach out if you need help. I can get you resources. I can direct you. I can't help you personally, but I can direct you to places that could help you. There's no shame in it. So please don't suffer alone.
And for me, I don't necessarily have the resources, but I'm always glad to listen. And because I'm there.
Yes.
I'm right there with you. I understand. And sometimes my best work is what I do for others. I do better for others than I do for myself.
Yes.
So
do as I say, not as I do.
Bingo. That's exactly. I try to tell my kids that all the time.
Yes, I know, but kids know everything. Kids know everything. So
they do know everything. Well, I think that was a perfect way to bring this to a close here this week. Thank you for bringing that up, Heather. I'm glad you did do so. And we'll get into more. We got a whole summer of baseball.
Oh, I know. We got a whole summer. Yeah, we've got a whole summer of football starting, baseball. Practices are going to be. It's all year long. We got a lot to talk about.
We do have a lot to talk about. Absolutely. All right. So, folks, remember, subscribe our YouTube channel.
Yep.
Follow the Fanatical Elves Network. I showed you earlier. You can go check out the podcast. If you can't watch us live, you want to listen in the car, go to your favorite podcasting platform, download our show, download all the other shows from the Fanatical Elves. Check it out. It is worth the listen. It is worth the listen and the watch for all of this. So we really appreciate all your support. Thank you to everybody who tuned in tonight.
Yeah, thanks. And, thanks for all the comments.
We love it. This is fantastic. Love to be here with you. All right, Heather. So until next time, for Heather, I'm Ethan, and you've been tuned in to the best doggone podcast in the land here on the Fanatical Elves Network, a part of Fans First Sports Network.